The Republican Party, the party of family values, the party trying to protect children from the evil trans agenda, the party who is pro-life, trying to stop babies from being murdered, from Democrats and Planned Parenthood, I think. They're all about children and babies, right? Protect the children, protect the babies, except if we want to feed them, of course, in schools. But they're all about protecting the children and the babies from the evil demon rats that are trying to corrupt them and their children, right? So I have pulled up a few of these lovely, lovely Republicans that all they want to do is protect children. Let's take a look at our first example here.
Every Sunday night during session, I say goodbye to my wife and kids and make the 3-hour trek to St. Paul to fight for our way of life.
Fucking 2008 ass quality.
It is under attack from Metro liberals.
Oh, here we go.
Minnesota state senator just arrested,
Oh.
accused of soliciting a minor for prostitution.
What?
40-year-old Senator Justin Eichhorn is a Republican representing Grand Rapids. Bloomington police say that detectives posed as a 16-year-old girl
No.
and arranged to meet.
Every Sunday.
That's impossible. I was told that they were the party of family values. Wait just a minute here. Here's from SDL, another great profile. GOP candidate quits after cop catches him masturbating outside preschool. That's pretty cool. It wasn't part of the segment, but nonetheless, a good thing to add. Okay, but that had to be a fluke, right? That had to be a fluke. We have one state senator here, Justin Eichhorn, just happened to be a Republican, right? Surely there are not way the more of these, right? Let's continue. That's for later. Another one. MAGA influencer and Fox News guest indicted on child sex abuse charges. Let's see what's going on here. The right-wing personality known as Raw Ricky built his... is it Richie or Ricky? I'm going to go with Ricky. Built his following by filming homeless people in San Francisco. Ricky Wine, 39, known as Raw Ricky, to his more... Oh, God. Now that has a brand new meaning to it. Jesus Christ. To his more than 100,000 Instagram followers, was first arrested in November and charged with pimping and pandering by procuring, HuffPost previously reported. He was taken into custody alongside a woman shortly after arriving at a San Francisco International Airport. The influencer was already being investigated by San Francisco police at the time of his November arrest and was named a suspect in the sexual assault of a 15-year-old, according to the San Francisco Standard. Authorities say that they found evidence on is it Wine or Win? Who cares? Cell phone, and at his luxury apartment that indicated he was facilitating a sex work operation that spanned multiple cities. Wow. Sex trafficker. Wow. Another fluke. It must be another fluke, right? One's an accident, two's a coincidence. Let's see if the pattern continues. Oklahoma Trump supporter who shared fake pictures depicting Kamala Harris with the billionaire child Jeffrey Epstein, Damian Searles, has been arrested for the rape of a child. That's crazy. That's insane. There's no way, right? There's no way. 3 is a pattern. Clearly, we have established a pattern here by now. Shall we continue? The girl was 12 years old. He was one of Trump's biggest promoters and legitimizers. He prayed over Trump in the White House. Trump's been to his church. Greg Abbott tapped him on the anti-trans bathroom bills. Now he faces 100 plus years in prison. Let's see who this is. Megachurch founder Robert Morris, indicted on charges of lewd acts with a child. Today in a not a drag queen, Robert Morris, a megachurch pastor who used his reputation to help Donald Trump get elected, has now been indicted on 5 counts of lewd or indecent acts to a child. It comes after he admitted last year that he was sexually abused a child for a few years, beginning when she was only 12. He was in his 20s at the time of the attacks. Morris later downplayed the severity of what he did by referring to it merely as, quote, inappropriate sexual behavior with a young lady. Oh, you know what? Boys being boys. Boys will be boys. Am I right? Am I right, folks? Am I right? Disgusting cretin. I tried to say cretin and creature at the same time. Disgusting piece of shit is the point. Disgusting. Okay? Absolutely grotesque piece of shit. So, we've gone over a couple of these. Some of them have been politicians. Some of them have just been your run-of-the-mill MAGA guys. We've established a pattern. Yes, a pattern. Now, if you would like to see more of these, this person actually just followed me, Bex, and she does a fantastic job of detailing whenever a conservative gets up to some no good, very bad deeds with children, which actually tends to happen pretty often, as it turns out. A Minnesota jury has found GOP strategist, donor, and founder of Big Tent Republicans Anton Lazaro guilty of sex trafficking children. That's crazy. That's crazy. Let's keep going. Oh, she follows actual Jake too. That's awesome. I should have bookmarked more of these. There's so many. There's so many. I wish there were a way to filter just the things. Oh yeah, that's another fucked up story, but I don't know there. If I had to guess, so this, I'll include this in the segment, sure. I won't watch the video, but this involves a white couple who decided to adopt and enslave black children, keep them tied up and in very tight quarters for years of their childhood, force them to serve as slaves for years. I wonder what political affiliation they had. What do you guys think? It's just speculation. I'll admit it's just speculation, but there's really only one group of people that tend to do the racism and the enslavement, you know? So just a thought. I should have had more of these fired up. Hold on. Here we go. Former Rhode Island City Councilman and GOP County Chairman Matthew Riley, who was arrested last year for being passed out in his car with a crack pipe and later charged with sex crimes, has now been indicted for the rape of a 12-year-old girl. More GOP. Crazy. Here we go. Former Texas GOP leader Bo Dresner has been sentenced to 410 years in prison for multiple children and possessing hundreds of thousands of images of children being sexually abused. Crazy. That's crazy. Well, here's a picture of Trump with our mega pastor guy, right? You know, his excuse again was sexual misconduct with young ladies. He didn't consider it, of course. Alabama police officer Corey Burcham has been arrested for possessing images of children being sexually abused. This happens all the time with police, okay? All the time. And I'll give you one guess as to which party he probably was. I believe it's somewhere around 80 to 90% of police officers vote Republican, right? So whenever you see a police officer that has engaged in sexual misconduct with a child, 80 to 90% chance that they were in fact a Republican. So good bet on that. I think that's probably enough. Let's move on to the next part of this discussion. The Republican majority in the New Hampshire House just voted to bring back child marriage in a vote of 193 to 178. Isn't that crazy? House Bill 433. Let's look it up real quick, shall we? New Hampshire votes for child marriage exemption. The New Hampshire House has voted to amend the state's child marriage laws to allow 17-year-olds in the military to marry. Thursday's vote to alter current state laws comes less than 3 months after New Hampshire officially banned child marriage. Okay, so they decided, well, you know, we banned child marriage. We have to bring it back in some capacity, right? We must. We must find a loophole here. They're salivating for just a crumb, just a morsel of child marriage and abuse. Just a crumb, please. Just a crumb of child abuse, please. Child sexual abuse, please, sir. Please, please. Very good. Very good stuff. It is GOP controlled. The GOP-controlled New Hampshire House has now approved House Bill 433, which would set the age of consent for marriage at 17, if either party is an active member of the military. Either party! Oh, either party! Great! So, my 40-year-old uncle can come back. I'm a 17-year-old girl, and my 40-year-old uncle can come back from war to have his way with me. Very good stuff. Very good stuff. So it's already misleading, like to say, well, they have to be members of the military. No, either party can be a member of the military. Crazy. That's insane. Missouri Republican pushing trans care ban, suggests 12-year-olds should be allowed to marry. Now, granted, this is from 2023, but I thought it fitting to bring up here as well. A Missouri Republican state senator this week suggested that children as young as 12 should be able to get married as he pushes legislation that would ban gender-affirming care for minors. That's right, folks. Gender-affirming care, such as wearing a dress, changing your name, getting a new haircut, maybe puberty blockers, right? So dangerous and scary and predatory, but you know, we can let 12-year-olds marry big, strong men, right? We must protect our girls by letting them marry, by not letting them marry. It's not their decision. Make no mistake. This is like, you do not have a consensual marriage at 12. Let's see what he had to say on the topic. Do you know any kids who have been married at age 12? I do. And guess what? They're still married. Crazy. Crazy. I can't fathom that a Republican, the party of family values, would do such a thing. That's insane to me. You know, that's really something. What do we have here? So these two men, I'm not sure if you know who these guys are. This is a well-known fact, of course. Donald Trump was great friends with Jeffrey Epstein, showed up in his flight logs. Who's to say what they did together? He called Jeffrey Epstein a great guy, you know, said that he likes his women a little on the younger side, right? And with what the conservatives tend to consider women, I really don't want to think too much into that. Brings a little vomit to my mouth. Oh yeah, remember this story? Remember when they brought the Tate brothers back? We're just rapid firing through these guys, okay? What did the Tate brothers do? The brothers were first arrested in Romania in 2022. They are facing separate unrelated charges of and human trafficking in the UK. Both brothers also denied the charges against them in the UK. And they were brought back to the US. First of all, huge right-wing influencers, okay? Huge conservative right-wing influencers. Second, they were brought back to the US by the Trump administration. Even Ron DeSantis in Florida was like, no, these guys, what are you talking about? No, get them out of here. It is well known that they are under very good, it's basically all but fact at this point. It's alleged still because they haven't completed their trial. But they're on trial in Romania. They're going to trial for and trafficking of underage girls. They were under a travel ban in Romania, and the U.S. had them lifted after the Trump election. Crazy, right? Crazy. Indiana teacher accused of her students, including an instance where she forced 3 underage boys to have sex with her while wearing scream masks. Horrifying. 31-year-old Brittany Fortenberry is accused of at least 10 boys. Fortenberry claims her weight loss for allegedly preying on the children. That's great. According to one 13-year-old boy, Fortenberry, quote, would always make him food and would buy him anything he wanted, including vapes, weed, and THC carts. The teacher would allegedly drug him and his friends with mushrooms before telling them to touch her. So we have some drugging in there as well. Good stuff. Brittany would peer pressure them if they didn't want to take the shrooms. Brittany would grab their arms and would say, just let it happen, an affidavit reads. On one occasion, Fortenberry allegedly had the boys spend the night at her house and forced them to wear a scream mask. Brittany had one condition for them to have the gangbang with her, and that was that they had to wear a scream mask to fuck her, the affidavit continued. Fortenberry's husband was allegedly aware of what was going on, but stayed quiet because she told him she would slaughter him in front of his family if he said anything. Now, I have no evidence as to this person's political affiliations. I can take a guess, but I'm not going to speculate on it. The reason that I am bringing this particular instance up is because of the comments. Let's take a look, shall we? A. Scott Bunton. Let's take a look at his profile real quick, just to get an idea. Reposted. This woman stood in front of a Tesla dealership with a sign that said, thank you, Elon, and thank you, SpaceX. She is a patriot. New York liberal nutjob tries to grab a MAGA hat off a man's head and falls flat on her face. Karma. Also retweeted by Scott Bunton. You get the idea. He's MAGA, okay? He's MAGA. Let's see what he has to say. I'm sorry to say this, but a woman can't have forced sex with a male if he is not willing. All of these situations include boys wanting to have sex with an adult woman. Not what I say makes it morally correct, but women can't force a male of any age into sex. These boys were willing participants. Party of family values and protecting the children. William Wallace Welker. Let's see what he has to say. While I do not condone this, we probably need a better word for coercing teenage boys into sex. Somebody replied. He says, I suspect you have never been a teenage boy. Laughing emoji, laughing emoji. Let's take a look at William Wallace's profile, shall we? Henceforth, me and my progeny will buy Teslas exclusively. I have been made into a Tesla extremist. Likely true. Most of Congress is controlled by the FBI through blackmail. I don't know anything about this. Retweeted from John Rudick. Hi, Doge. I'm a member of Parliament in Australia's largest state. I just attended a briefing from the United States Study Center, which is a think tank based at the University of Sydney. The briefing was endlessly anti-Trump. It felt like I was stuck in a room and forced to watch MSNBC. The presenter concluded by apologizing to Australians on behalf of Americans because of the Trump administration. A quick AI search, good shit, indicates the USSC receives funding from U.S. taxpayers and Lockheed Martin, of course. If true, I hereby request it be doged. So I think it's safe to say we have another maggot here, right? Yet another MAGA guy. Crazy. You know, I was thinking that they were the party of, oh, here's another one. Them boys were not forced. I haven't looked at this person yet. What's that profile picture? Wait, what's that? Who's that? Huh? Interesting. You know, every single time that an article like this drops where the teacher, or whoever it is, usually it's a teacher because that's just where it tends to happen, where a woman takes advantage of young boys, we always get comments like this. Isn't that weird? And then the comments for like this are always right-wingers. They're always right-wingers. They're Trump voters. They're Elon supporters. It's just crazy. It has to be a coincidence, though. It has to be a coincidence because they're the party of family values, right? They are the party that protects children from the predators on the left, on the far left, the trans people, right? The drag queens, the real predators. Those are the people that we need to worry about. Not these guys. Not these guys. Right? Such a weird pattern, though. Wow. Wow. That brings me to my final point. This is a Google Doc. Right-wing sexual predators. Right-wing sexual predators, abusers, and enablers. If you want to support my work, I have an Amazon wishlist, or you can contribute to abortionfunds.org. Feel free to repost and share as often as you like. If you repost this on your own accounts, please be sure to include links to news stories or to this document. This list is documented with news sources. Do not put the information out there without documentation. This document includes people with political power or access to it, party activists, candidates, and electeds. These are also people in positions of public trust, such as educators and law enforcement. There are religious leaders who involve themselves in politics through anti-abortion and anti-gay activism. Crazy, crazy. I also include white supremacists, white nationalists, and other right-wing extremists as they embrace Trump and the insurrection, and Republicans, in turn, embrace them as political prisoners and patriots. Whatever bright line existed in the past, it's been erased by the MAGA takeover of the GOP. This information is available on different sites in the hope of making sure the content is available if I lose an account. There are over 1,000 names. I believe it's close to 1,800 names. 1,300 names. Starting, of course, with our big orange boy, Donald Trump, accused of sexual assault by more than 24 women. They're all lying, of course. He is accused of raping a 13-year-old girl, talked about having sex with his daughter, bragged of walking in on underage girls at pageants, claimed he can grab women by the pussy. He is convicted of sexually assaulting E. Jean Carroll. And then there are links to news articles. Judge Roy Moore, accused of sexual assault and dating underage women. Jim Jordan, Republican House leadership, though he is accused of ignoring sexual assault of more than 100 young men while a coach, dismissing it as locker room talk. I mean, right. Boys will be boys, right? That old saying. We love that. Students have said they told him, and he is said to have called the parents of one complainant, asking them to get their son to back off. Speaker of the House Dennis Hastert sexually abused his high school students. He is outside the statute of limitations but was convicted of paying off/bribing some of his victims. Cobb County GOP Chairman Joseph Russell Dendy, so-called pro-life anti-gay activist Howard Scott Heldreth, GOP Ohio County Commissioner David Schwartz, Republican Judge Mark Pazuhannak, however you pronounce that, pleaded no contest to fondling a 10-year-old girl. Republican anti-abortion activist Nicholas Morency. It goes on and on and on and on and on and on and on. Where does this leave us? Well, in my professional opinion, I don't think the Republican Party is in fact the party of family values. I don't think that they're the ones trying to protect our young girls by, taking away the 5 trans girls that are competing in school sports, right? Like stripping them of their ability to play sports as children. I don't think that the Republicans are honest when they say that, they're trying to protect children. Just a thought. It seems more as though it's a convenient cover for them to project and accuse us instead. How many drag queens have been accused? I'm sure there are a couple. I'm not doubting that there are a couple. How many trans people? Again, a couple. Probably not 1,300, if I had to guess. Oh, it's not even a quarter of the way done, boys, girls, and MPs. It's still going. She's still going. All Republicans, all conservatives, all Trump voters, I'm sure, or at least most of them. Many of them affiliated with Trump. Trump, who was, again, friends with Jeffrey Epstein, the famous criminal who was a child sex trafficker. I mean, you'd have to be blind. You'd have to be blind at this point to not see the pattern. It's ridiculous. And they want to try to sit here and accuse us of being the predators. That's bullshit. Utter bullshit. Disgusting wretches, dude. Shit stains on the face of this planet. I have no respect for the party anymore. None. They don't deserve it. And anybody who still is a Republican after watching this, you should feel disgusted. I hope, honestly, if you are a Republican and you've stumbled across this video, that this makes you think about some things. It's not the trans people that are hurting your kids. It's not the drag queens. It's not the leftists. It's not the communists. It's not the black people. It's not the immigrants. They are projecting. They are trying to get your attention off of what they are doing right in front of you. And you're falling for it, hook, line, and sinker. It's disgusting. This isn't the first time a video like this has been made. Shark300 has done a fantastic video as well, which I recommend you go check out. I'll leave a link to it in the description of the YouTube video. Dubsy, if you could remind me to do that, thank you. I'm actually kind of stealing his bit right here. So there's just so much evidence out there of what the Republicans and people affiliated with the Republicans and the GOP are doing to not just women, but children. I mean, this is just the children. Imagine how many women they've taken advantage of. Hell, maybe even men, you know? They don't care. They don't give a shit, okay? They do not care. And they're playing you for fools every step of the way. So anyway, I hope this was enlightening for some. I hope it was confirmation for others that trans people, immigrants, anybody, you know, affiliated with the left, whatever, they're not the problem. It's the conservatives. It's the Republicans. It always has been the conservatives. Always. Always. It's always been them. The evidence is there. You just have to look for it. Hey, thanks for watching. If you enjoyed the video, please be sure to hit the like button, subscribe if you want to see more, hit the notification bell to be notified when I upload. If you enjoy my content, you enjoy what I do, I really appreciate any financial help that I can get. Go to youtube.com/AlecGunterTTV/join. You got some awesome benefits, such as seeing early videos, awesome emotes that you can use in the comments of YouTube videos, and a sweet badge next to your name. So if that sounds interesting to you, I'd really appreciate if you join. It is cheaper than the cost of a blowjob from your mom. So with all that being said, thank you again for watching, and I'll see you all in the next video.